Hello everyone. Today I will discuss the sustainable development, and this is also the most important question from the point of examination. Now, what is sustainable development definition? The development in the real sense. The development in the real sense without damaging the environment and keeping in concern the future needs is called sustainable development. Once again, development in the real sense without damaging the environment and keeping in concern the future needs is called sustainable development. Then, understood. Now, at Rio de Janeiro, in the month of June 1992, Earth Summit was held. And Rio de Janeiro, it is a city in Brazil. That means Rio de Janeiro, in the city of Brazil, in the month of June 1992, Earth Summit was held. Earth Summit means in that meeting, leaders from 100 countries they participated. Okay, that meeting is called the Earth Summit. कहने का मतलब आपका ब्राज़ील का रियो डी जेनेरो एक सिटी में जून का मंथ 1992 में एक समिट हुआ, एक मीटिंग हुआ. एंड क्वेश्चन ऑल्सो माइट अराइज, where was Earth Summit June 1992 held? You have to write the answer Rio de Janeiro. Okay, question often arise, 1 marks question. Now, in that meeting, leaders of the world they signed a declaration. In that meeting, leaders of the world they agreed and they signed a declaration, and that declaration is called the Agenda 21. What is Agenda 21? What is Agenda 21? If question arises, leaders of the world they signed a declaration in the meeting of Rio de Janeiro, and that signed of declaration is called the Agenda 21. Now, what was the declaration of that meeting? What was the agenda of that meeting? Point number 1, all the leaders of the world they agreed to combat environmental damage. That means number 1, what they agreed to combat, that means fight against environmental damage. environmental damage के अगेंस्ट में हम लोग लड़ेंगे. सभी लीडर्स ने वहाँ पर ये अपना जो है एक साइन करके यहाँ पर ये लोगों ने ये चीज़ बता दी है कि इन्वायरमेंटल डैमेज होने नहीं देंगे डेवलपमेंट का नाम में. ओके. And number 2, they also agreed that they will fight against poverty and spreading of diseases combinedly. कहने का मतलब कहीं पर भी गरीबी हुआ और साथ साथ कोई भी डिजीज का स्प्रेडिंग होता है तो हम लोग साथ साथ मिल कर के लड़ेंगे, ये डिसीजन लिया गया था. ओके. नाउ another point, resource planning in India. Resource planning in India. Okay. Resource planning in India. First of all, why resource planning? Okay. Why resource planning or what is resource planning? Resource planning meaning judicious use of the resource is called resource planning. Okay. Or thoughtful use of the resource is called resource planning. Or planning use of the resource is called resource planning, whichever way you say. Okay. And why resource planning is necessary? Resource planning is necessary, or use of the resources in a planning way is necessary because resource is not distributed equally. Okay. Some places we find sufficient resource. For example, in the Chotanagpur Plateau region, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Odisha area of India, we find different type of the minerals. That's why it is also called storehouse of mineral. And when we talk about Arunachal Pradesh, Rajasthan, yes, Rajasthan desert area, there is lack of water. Rajasthan area, there is lack of water. There might be other resource, but lack of water. Okay. And Arunachal Pradesh, there is no lack of water, there is sufficient water, but Arunachal Pradesh might be lacking behind due to some infrastructure, road connectivity is not good, and other things which we don't find there in Arunachal Pradesh area. That means every place cannot have all the things which is needed by the people. So resource planning is needed so that where people has the requirement, where people have the requirement of some resource, we can fulfill their requirement from the places where the resources is already in existence. ओके कहने का मतलब जहाँ रिसोर्स है वहाँ से हम जहाँ नहीं है वहाँ तक पहुँचाए, सभी को रिसोर्स का कंजम्पशन करने का ये अवसर मिले. ऐसा न हो कि someone are getting the resources, enjoying the resources, someone are having so much that their stomach is going to be burst, okay, and someone they are dying ड्यू टू स्टारवेशन. ऐसा ना हो कि किसी का खा खा के पेट फूल रहा है, फटने वाला है, और किसी का जो है कि भूख से मर रहा है. तो रिसोर्स का प्लानिंग तो होना चाहिए ना, सभी तक रिसोर्स का कंजम्पशन करने का ये जो अधिकार तो होना चाहिए, सबका पास पहुँचना चाहिए, इसलिए रिसोर्स प्लानिंग जरूरी है. Now, resource planning in India. How do the India government plan the resources? Number one, identification and inventory of resources. That means number one point for the resource planning in India. India government tries to find out where is the resources. Identify the resources means here where is the resources. India government goes through surveying or the mapping to find out where is the resources, and that is the identification and inventory of resources. कहाँ रिसोर्स है, कौन सा रिसोर्स है, ये पता लगाना, कितना अमाउंट में रिसोर्स है, ये फर्स्ट पॉइंट है, आइडेंटिफिकेशन एंड इन्वेंटरी ऑफ रिसोर्सेज. सेकेंड वन, इवॉल्विंग अ प्लानिंग स्ट्रक्चर. दैट मीन्स इफ we have found the resource, okay, now second step, how to explore that resource, whether we have technology for using that resource, whether we have the skill labor for using that resource, for exploring that resource. That is the planning. That means to make a plan how to explore that resource, whether we have technology, whether we have the skilled labor, etc., to prepare a plan. That is the evolving a planning structure, second point. And third one, matching the resource development plan. After that, yes, we have the technology also. Now we have the skill labor also, we have full plan how to explore the resource. Now we also have to think how much resource we have to use, so that there shouldn't be one community affected due to explore of that resource and one community benefited. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. उस रिसोर्स से हमको फ़ायदा होना चाहिए, इन्वायरमेंटल डैमेज नहीं होना चाहिए, उस रिसोर्स से कुछ लोगों को बहुत ही फ़ायदा पहुंचाए और कुछ लोगों को कुछ भी नहीं, कुछ लोगों को उससे डैमेज हो, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. तो दिस इज द मैचिंग द रिसोर्स डेवलपमेंट प्लान. ओके, that means resource planning in India. Explain, question might arise. First one, identification and inventory of resources, in which India government goes through surveying and mapping to find out where is the resource, how much is the resource, which resource is there. Okay. Second one, evolving a planning structure. That means India government plans how to use the resource, which technology is required over there, what type of the labor skill is required to make a full plan. That is evolving a planning structure. And third one, how to use that resource, how much we have to use that resource. ऐसा नहीं कि रिसोर्स मिल गया एक ही दिन में ख़त्म कर दिया. हाउ मच वी हैव टू यूज दैट रिसोर्स, वेदर इट विल नॉट इफेक्ट सम कम्युनिटी एंड इट विल बेनिफिट ओनली सम अदर कम्युनिटी. ये सारा चीज़ को देखना. Now, another one, conservation of resource. Why conservation of resource? Conservation of resource. Conservation of resource. Why conservation of resource? Question might arise. Conservation of resource is essential because resource is in limited nature. Resource is limited. If resource is limited and most of the resources are non-renewable also, which cannot be renewed, so resources are most essential for our living also. So we have to conserve the resource. Resources are most essential for our survival. Number one. Number two, resources are limited in nature. Number three, resources, most of them are non-renewable. That's why conservation of resources is essential, it's mandatory. Now see, there is enough for everybody's need but not for anybody's greed. This is the quote of Gandhi ji. Explain this quote. Question might arise. Explain this. There is enough for everybody's need but not for anybody's greed. Yeah, really. There is enough for everybody's need. That means nature has given us sufficient resource. Nature has given us sufficient resource. If we use that resource, then there won't be any scarcity of the resource if we use them according to our need. But people are greedy. Their greedy nature of the people, it has exhausted the resource. That means our need can be met, but our greed cannot be met. हमारा आवश्यकता तो पूरा हो सकता है, क्या आपका लालच पूरा हो सकता है? आज के दिन में हम 1 लाख इनकम करते हैं, तो क्या कल का दिन में मैं अगर 2 लाख इनकम करने लगूंगा तो फिर मेरा ग्रीड तो और 4 लाख होगा ना? तो लोगों के ग्रीड को कभी भी पूरी नहीं कर सकते। इसीलिए यहाँ पर गांधी जी ने कहे देयर इज एनफ फॉर एवरीबॉडीज नीड, जितना चाहिए लोगों के लिए उतना है रिसोर्सेज, बट नॉट फॉर एनीबॉडीज ग्रीड। कहने का मतलब लोग इतना एक्सप्लोर कर रहे, रिसोर्सेज का इतना एक्सप्लॉइटेशन कर रहे, उसको कंट्रोल करना चाहिए। ठीक है, थैंक यू।